There we are.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey.
I'm just sharing it up right now.
Hola.
There you are. Yep.
Hey again.
Hey.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Well.
You can use this.
Still might want to turn it just a bit.
Okay.
Don't knock me.
Because you're in the very edge and we're getting like all of this.
No problem.
Yeah, there we go.
Move with us, friends.
There you go. That's really good right
Beautiful.
Move with us, friends.
We are live, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We are live right here. Open your phone, hit the share button. Make sure that people know they can join us right now. There's two of us on in this very moment.
Yes.
Me and who else?
Not me. Not Chris.
Maybe TJ.
I bet it's Tana.
She might. Well,
Or Jolene.
she's doing Christmas shopping today with TT.
Oh.
She's out with TT and they're shopping together.
Ooh, spending some of our money. Oh, actually, that's my mom, not my wife. Never mind.
Your mom's spending your money. Oh, we're glad to see you guys. And whenever you join us, whether it's now or a year from now, jumping into Colossians together, we definitely want your voice to be a part of what we're sharing. Here, there, or in the air.
There we go.
Yeah, see you here, there, in the air. That's good. That's good rapture talk right there.
Here, there, in the air.
Here, there, in the air. We are in Colossians chapter 1. We only have 2 more verses left in this. And I'm going to go to the Passion Translation. I'm going to go there. You guys maybe are too, some of you. But I will read it in NASB. But when it comes my turn to share, I am going to go there because, well, I'm not going to say yet.
Yeah.
I'll say it when I get there.
Don't spill the beans.
We're on KJ over here.
The beans before it's time to eat the beans.
Yeah.
True.
Otherwise, we just got cold beans sitting on the table. We're not going to
beans.
have that.
Those are table beans. Nobody wants
Nobody
wants
wants
beans.
cold. Really?
Weirdo.
Interesting. Cold beans.
Baked beans. Like.
Just out of the can.
Yeah.
Just cold baked beans. Ugh. No thanks.
She uses ruffles to dip.
Cold baked beans. Interesting.
Me too, actually.
Interesting.
Cold though?
When it's after a gathering,
Yeah.
I will definitely just not take the effort to warm up the beans because they're good cold too. But I will absolutely use ruffles.
And dip into the beans.
Yep. Yep.
What a gas.
So Carissa, when you watch this later sometime, I'm with you.
And I'm sure she every week watches it so that she can see TJ expound the word.
Yep.
Right?
She should. He's good at it.
I know, and I'm sure. Every week she does, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, guys, here we go. NASB, Colossians chapter 1, verse 28 and 29. We proclaim him, admonishing every person and teaching every person with all wisdom, so that we may present every person complete in Christ. For this purpose, I also labor, striving according to his power, which works mightily within me. These are loaded.
Wow.
Loaded
It's
verses.
so loaded.
That's good stuff. So today,
I know. I bet I know why you're going to the Passion though.
You might. Very well.
You might.
So I'm just going to go Ryan, Chris, around to TJ, and back around to me.
All right. So I pulled up my phone and NLT was on there. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with that.
Use the NLT.
So it says, so we will tell others about Christ, warning everyone and teaching everyone with all the wisdom God has given us. We want to present them to God perfect in their relationship to Christ. That's why I work and struggle so hard, depending on Christ's mighty power that works within me. And probably the evangelist in me is just like, I really like that first line.
Uh-huh.
So we tell others about Christ.
Yeah, come on, evangelist.
It made me think of the verse prior, like, I'm kind of at this place in my life where I'm just like, why? Why are we going to tell others about Christ?
Mm-hmm.
And right before that, I didn't get to be here for your guys' study last week, but it talks about the riches of the glorious mysteries that God has. And it talks about Christ in you.
Yeah.
And so it's like these these glorious mysteries. It's Christ. Like, why are we going to preach the gospel? Because people, if they don't know God, they are missing out on all of these glorious things. They're missing out on stuff. It made me think about Nicodemus going to Jesus in John 3. And Nicodemus goes to Jesus and he says, hey, like, we know that God's with you because you couldn't do the things you're doing unless he wasn't with you. And Jesus said, unless you're born again, you won't. What's it say? I'll just read it. Jesus answered, truly I say to you, unless one is born. Okay, no. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he can't see the kingdom of God. And then he goes on to say, do not marvel that I said you must be born again. And then he goes on to John 3:16. He said, for God so loved the world that whoever believes in him will have eternal life, and shall not perish. And so it's like this whole Jesus, he took the sacrifice. He did everything for us. Like, this is amazing. But there is a part of all these people who haven't heard the news yet about Jesus.
Come on.
They need to believe in order to, be saved, in order to be saved from eternal damnation, in order to be healed, in order to be delivered, And I think it just made me think about there's so many good people out there. It's just there's no reason for us not to tell people about Jesus.
Yeah.
We could think okay, maybe this person's already heard about Jesus and just doesn't want to know, or maybe this person heard about Jesus and they just don't know. Sometimes I get tripped up. I'm just not going to tell this person about Jesus because they probably already know.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is we don't know that.
Right.
And when we tell others, when we preach the gospel to others, we give them an opportunity to say yes, to come into all of these things that God has for them.
Mm-hmm.
Healing, salvation, deliverance. I just thought about how many people have gone their whole life without knowing God.
Yeah.
God's there and he's leading people and he's talking to people, but to go your whole life and not know that you could have access to him at all times, that makes me fired up. And I think that's probably why Paul's the same. Paul had the same kind of heart, and that's who wrote this. He says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. And he talks about in Romans how he's eager, he's compelled, he's obligated to tell Jews and Greeks the gospel. Even in prison, he's he was about to be let go, and he says, no, I appeal to Rome. And the reason he appealed to Rome is so that he could tell Caesar and all the rest about the good news about Jesus. Why? Because he didn't want them to go without salvation. He didn't want them to live without knowing who God was. He's compelled. And so I read this and I'm I want to tell people everywhere because, I remember giving my life to Jesus at a young age, looking at my whole family and going, none of them know who he is. And they didn't, maybe one did. They didn't understand what they would get if they said yes. And so that does something to you when you realize your loved ones don't know God. There is a compulsion. There is this dude, I need to tell you. I don't want you to go without. And so when I read that, I'm there is such a reason to tell people about Jesus. Because there's good people out there and bad people out there that need to know how awesome he is and how he can redeem them.
Yeah.
So.
Come on.
And also the maturity thing too. I was looking at that, how he was, maybe I shouldn't. I'll let you guys go. You guys go.
Oh, you got something else in there burning?
Okay. Let me go with it. I just got to go back to.
Don't leave the beans.
Okay, he said,
Spill the beans.
Don't leave them.
Teaching everyone with all wisdom that we want to present them to God perfectly. I don't know about you guys, but I think since we're pastors, maybe since I'm a pastor, maybe since I'm a dad, there's this desire within me to present our people, present my kids to the Lord maturely. To get them to the, I don't, if my kid is swearing all the time, I want to teach them, I want to guide them, hey, this isn't how Christ wants it to be. I want you to grow into like the fullness of what he has for you,
Yeah.
the like full maturity that he has for you. And so I think part of that is I kept thinking about this phrase that I use too. It says, you do you. You just say, you do you. But sometimes I think we leave out like the discipline of the Lord when we say that.
I'd say
You know
a lot
what I-
more than sometimes.
You know what I mean? And like if we want somebody to be fully mature, like to be fully mature and to be a believer of Jesus is to be so much like him. And so if there's areas in our lives where we're just like, hey, you know what? God's saying, I should really cut back on this issue in my life, or I should stop doing this in my life, or I should work on this in my life. And God's so good that he allows us to say no to his discipline. You know, he'll just be like, okay, well, you don't want to stop murdering? Well then, okay. Well,
Here will be the consequences.
Yeah, right. But he's so good. He allows you. But I think like there's this, desire within me for like the kids at Church of the Gate and like my own kids. Like, man, I don't want you guys just to be feeding on milk. I want you to move on to the steak. I want you to be mature. I want you to know who you are. I want you to know, how much the Lord loves you. And I want you to say yes, even at the times when he's disciplining, because he's just going to make you more mature.
Yeah.
And I want to be mature. When I get to heaven, I want to be like fully mature.
That's good.
Like Jesus, you told me to do these things. I heard you say it, and I said yes. And I know there's definitely times where I've said no.
Oh
But
yeah.
I want to get to that full mature state. So
It's like the verse that's on the table, that little card in James that's on our desk. It's about walking and staying in persistence so that you may become mature.
yeah.
And this the only way is the persistence of that, which actually segues into his laboring. If
Right.
you're done.
No, I'm
if
done.
if you're not,
I'm done.
shut my mouth.
That's good.
But it's the what's sticking out to me is the relationship between hope and striving, because the world often strives out of a lack of hope, versus this striving is striving because of hope. And I love that because it's not the vain striving. It's a striving out of I want to do this for you, not I want to do this because I'm not good enough or because I'll never make it, so I need to be better. It's I want to do this because that would be better for you in this relationship. So it's a striving with hope. And I love that because usually we're like, no striving, just rest and accept. But there's a good kind, that good kind that makes you want to make sure the house is good when your wife comes home, or make sure that little thing that she was worried about is taken care of, or that's that striving. Yeah, it may take some sweat and maybe some blood and tears, but you're striving for hope, for something good, not for hopelessness out of a lack. Which I love that because he's trying to show people and laboring for that this is where the hole is filled. This is where that lack is filled, is in the hope of glory from the verse before. And yeah, I'm reading out of the NKJ over here.
Oh, NKJ.
New King Jimmy.
Not just the KJ.
Same, but it's saying the same
This is the
thing.
New King Jimmy.
Whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom. The warning part, I needed more time today to go look up what the root. If any of you guys have that,
I didn't look it up today.
Because I wonder if it's a warning of something good or if it's warning of the separation. If you don't realize what your hope is, and I don't know that yet, so I was just wondering, and I'll
if I had my laptop here, I could just click it right now.
which is okay, because it's still the religious take this and they strive to be perfect.
No, don't do it, Brent.
No,
Don't
you're
do
fine.
Listen to Chris.
The
Don't
religious,
do it.
the religious strive to be perfect out of a lack. The relational strive to be perfect out of a hope, of a more fulfilling more fulfilled relationship.
Say that again.
The
religious
strive
to be perfect out of lack.
Out of lack. And the
Yeah,
relational strive to be perfect out of hope. Of fullness, like a fuller relationship.
Yeah.
And that's just coming off the top, so it's not some like written down cool statement.
That's some of the best stuff flowing.
But it's
You're in the
it's
flow.
like it's it's to the good means to an end. It's not so you can be perfect. It's so that you can be in a relationship, so you can be in a more full relationship. Because the striving to be perfect, we can see this all over Western and even Eastern, but we can see it all over the churches in our areas. It's like, well, it's behavior modification. You better be perfect, because then God won't accept you. Whereas the relational is, don't you want to give him that?
Right.
Don't you want to fulfill that value of it?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it just cool? Do you want to find out? And it's all loving. Like, do you want to find out this next level because it's available for you?
Yeah.
Not, you
go.
better, otherwise you're never gonna see the things of God.
Yeah.
Shake, shake, shake. Like, no way. It's crazy to see how the enemy has twisted the same exact words. It's like, well, see, you have to do God's stuff. You have to be perfect in order to present yourself as perfect in order for God to accept you.
Yeah.
No, He's already our hope, and we're striving from it, not to it. Yeah. So
That's good.
the good kind of striving, kind of like how there's the good kind of shame that convicts you of your value, not of your lack or your dirtiness. The good kind of shame is like, yeah, I feel dirty about that or bad about that because I can see my value better than I could when I did that or when I said that. That's that good kind of striving where it's from a place, from a hope, versus striving to get somewhere from a lack of hope.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
Come on, bro. Come on. That's good. TJ.
Really good.
Man, I am gonna leave the Passion Translation to you.
Is that hard? Do you want to use it? You can use it.
Well, no.
I can just say amen at the end.
Because I actually found a really cool version of it in the Message. Did you look at this at all?
Not in the Message.
Oh, this is cool. So
I've actually read the Bible in every translation.
Oh, have you?
No.
I wrote it
And memorized it. Okay. So, precursor with this, it sections off 26 through 29. So I'll read the whole thing because it
ties together.
It ties together. Man, this is so good. This mystery has been kept in the dark for a long time, but now it's out in the open. God wanted everyone, not just Jews, to know this rich and glorious secret inside and out, regardless of their background, regardless of their religious standing. The mystery in a nutshell is just this: Christ is in you. So therefore, you can look forward to sharing in God's glory. It's that simple. That is the substance of our message. We preach Christ, warning people not to add to the message. We teach in a spirit of profound common sense so that we can bring each person to maturity. To be mature is to be basic. Christ, no more, no less. That's what I'm working so hard at, day after day, year after year, doing my best with the energy God so generously gives me. So good.
Shakalabamba.
So good.
Oh man.
Where do I start here?
You better add minutes onto your broadcast.
I love the statement because we always talk about maturity. We always talk about righteousness. We always talk about these words without defining them. And what they do here is to be mature is to be basic. Christ, no more,
no less.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think oftentimes a majority of the time, we so overcomplicate this, and that's why I love this version of this, because he points out and like highlights and does it again that this is Christ. We preach Christ.
Yeah.
And we so try to get everything right in our heads, in our communication, in our maturity and our righteousness, we try and do all the things when it's all about Christ. Like, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
And if we, like, I don't know, I'm in this bent right now of doing exactly that. Like, we try and speak and preach and talk and learn, or talk and teach and all of that, of all of these things, of how to do all of these things, of how to get to heaven, basically. And it's all in Christ. It is all Christ. And when we can begin to fathom that, then we come upon awakening. We come upon revelation.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think we put the cart before the horse so many times, in the fact that we've got to get all of this right, and then along comes Christ. And it's like, hold up. If we can just accept the fact that Christ did that. He did that. He became perfect. He was perfect. He did all of that for us that we're trying to do now. All we need to do is love him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the gospel. And we try and like, oh, so complicate things. And it's just like, that's what I absolutely love this verse. And I will say that one thing that you kind of brought in the warning piece. In the Passion, it actually says to awaken hearts instead of to warn.
Hey.
Sorry, my bad.
I'm kidding.
I know why you chose it.
That is part of it.
So anyway, and then there's, in the NASB, he says admonishing. So there are a couple of different things. Warning is an interesting way to look at it. I like what they say in the Message, warning people not to add to the message. So we're warning not to overcomplicate. Exactly what I was saying.
Makes a lot of sense.
Which that makes warning, in my opinion, I guess, from just a overview, it's a softer perspective of warning. I think when we hear warning, we're like, oh, you, like, I don't know. I think of, like, you're gonna go to hell type of thing.
And there's validity.
Which there's validity, but it's also, that's not the message. That's the part that we have to, in my opinion, adjust. The message is Christ. The message is he loves you. The message is he did all of this.
Amen.
Then, because of that, we don't go to hell. And we just, we believe that. We walk in that. We awaken to that. We are, I'm sorry that I laugh. Have you guys watched The Good Dinosaur?
No.
Yeah,
Don't
a
have
long time
children.
ago.
Okay, so it's all about this dinosaur, and Chris is gonna make so much fun. She hates this.
I don't want to know what happens.
I'm not gonna tell you the story, but they say there's pterodactyls in it, and they're like cult followers. That's their character, and he's like, I've had a revelation, is how he said it. So anytime I see revelation, I think I had a revelation. Anyway, sorry.
I had a revelation.
Was that at 6 or 6:30? No, that's reservation.
Open the porthole.
So all that, I digress. But it was, this is just so good. So I'll let you go at it.
No, that was good. The warning part too, the way that Eugene Peterson paraphrases it that way, makes me think of the whole book of Galatians. It's like Paul, and even in this, as we unfold in Colossians, he is going to be warning them. He is about to do it. He's going to warn them against the teaching that has come in to draw their attention away from Jesus. So this is why Eugene Peterson goes there. It makes sense to me that he does that, because Paul's actually about to, he's about to lock into this whole thing. Like, these people that say they have special revelations about worshiping angels and worshiping angels and asceticism. If you fast more, you get more. All of the he's about to go at that. Like he's about to warn. That's what he's about to do. But it is a warning to say, hey, you're getting away from the message. Here's the message. The message is Christ. Mm-hmm. So that is really, really, really good. Like that. And Paul does that here. He does it in Galatians. He does warn. And specifically a lot. He does a lot of warning. Yep.
Foolish Galatians.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, you are getting away from the message.
Yeah.
And you're getting into something else that is no gospel at all, anathema.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Curse. I mean, he's pretty strong, but his warning a lot of times really is about that right there. Like you're adding to the message, or you're missing the message, which is Jesus. Okay, Here it is. In the Passion Translation, which the first time I read Colossians in the Passion Translation, Colossians is a great book, but this is where I think like this whole love for Colossians started happening for me. Mm-hmm. So, there's a special place in my heart for reading it out of the Passion Translation. Christ is our message. We preach to awaken hearts. The first time I read that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful statement. We preach to awaken hearts. Yeah. Like it gave me like this picture for myself as a guy who gets to preach a lot, right? Like, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to convince somebody. I'm not trying to get, appeal to their brain to try to get them to agree with me. Like when I preach, my focus is, God, may this preaching awaken hearts. Yeah. I love that statement so much. And bring every person into the full understanding of truth. It has become my inspiration and passion in ministry to labor with a tireless intensity with his power flowing through me. Yeah. Like, I love that part too.
Yeah.
I've always loved this verse.
Pound the table.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. I got the with hope part.
Yeah.
Which is really good. I like that. I've always loved this verse for a long time, and I think I memorized it out of maybe New King James. To this end I labor, or maybe NIV, I can't remember, struggling with all of his energy, which so powerfully works in me. I remember when I first saw that, because it was like, oh, the labor is actually fueled. Like there's labor that we get depleted.
Yes.
And then there's this labor that's fueled by his energy.
Yeah.
So that like I'm fired up. I mean, I've labored, but I'm fired up. And maybe my body's even physically tired, but inside I'm fired up. Yeah. It's like, man, wasn't that amazing what God just did in those people's lives? And so that labor is like fueled by his energy. It's not just me laboring. It's me laboring, being completely fueled by his energy working in me.
Yeah.
Then listen to this one. To present to every believer the revelation of being his perfect ones in Jesus Christ.
Oh, I like that.
Like this whole revelation that is, and if it's both end. It's what you said, and it's we get a revelation that as far as he's concerned, he sees you as perfect in his eyes, right? That's Ephesians 1. Right. You're faultless, you're blameless before him in love. And because you see yourself that way, then that is like fuel that you want to embrace the discipline of the Lord. You're able to, because you understand it comes from his love. Yeah. I can't help but when we talk about discipline, again, it's those things that come to you the first time. I remember the first time it just came alive to me that in Proverbs it says he disciplines the son in whom his soul delights.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what is that? Like everything I thought of discipline was connected to anger, right?
Yeah, punishment.
Yeah, discipline is punishment because you did something bad. You need to learn to do something well, and rather than the discipline, the training of the Lord, was because here's the picture that got me is that he delights in me the whole time he's disciplining me.
Yeah.
There's nothing in his heart that is not delighted in me. And it's because of his delight in me. There's even the verse in Psalms, you deliver me because you delight in me.
Yeah.
Like while while he's disciplined me, his heart is thrilled with me.
Absolutely.
And he wants me to embrace the discipline because he loves me and because he wants the best for me. What you said, he wants. I was telling Tana the other day, like the current area in my life, I feel like the Lord is like got his finger on, saying, Brent, I love you too much to leave you here, is passive aggressive behavior. Like being passive aggressive, like acting like something doesn't bother me when it does and letting it come out in other ways, right? And I've caught these little things in myself lately more than normal. And when that happens, I know it's not the Lord shaming me in that bad shame. It's the Lord saying, Brent, do you see this? This is like, it's almost in a way, and this is, I don't mean it like it doesn't matter. It's on a way that's almost laughable. Like, okay, you see what you just did?
Yeah.
You know, come on, Brent.
Yeah.
That's like not, that's not you.
Yeah.
That's not who you are, Brent.
Yeah.
You know, the way that you just, and you know, I see it coming out with Tana, like my own wife, because that's usually what it is, the people closest to you, right? They're the people that experience that. You know, I find myself just, you know, little, or being sarcastic, right? And as being passive aggressive, like, little sarcastic comment under the breath or whatever. So I catch myself lately. I'm like, and I know the Lord's discipline is He's delighting in me.
Yeah.
But He also wants there's no but. He delights in me and He wants the best for everyone around me.
Yeah.
Like when I'm passive aggressive, it is not good for the people around me.
Yeah.
It's not good for you guys if I'm ever passive aggressive with the people that I work with, right?
Right.
Like you wonder where you stand, or you wonder, oh, he seems like he's a little upset, but I can't really tell. You know, that, like, I don't want to be that way. I want to be able to be open, honest. If I have something I need to deal with, just to deal with it rather than to stuff it down and it come out in another way. So I love when I'm in my right frame of mind. I love the discipline of the Lord.
Yeah.
When I'm not in my right frame of mind, I don't love the discipline of the Lord because I take it in a way He never intended it.
So
I take it as Him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that at all. It's the beautiful training in righteousness.
Yeah.
Like, you're righteous. Now let me train you what it's like to live inside of that paradigm.
Yeah.
Like, you are perfect. Now let me train you in what it is to live inside of that. This is the world you live in now, Brent. This is the reality. The other world is a lie. Now let me train you, Brent, what it looks like to live inside this paradigm.
Yeah.
Phrases like put on Christ, you know, that Paul will use just to help us get a picture of, just like I put on this beautiful mustard color shirt that matches the hat.
That's right.
That I should have borrowed your hat today. You know, just that He'll give us these little pictures that give us this is where you live. Now you can dress like that now.
Yeah.
You don't have to dress like you used to dress, Brent, and passive aggressive or whatever. Yeah. It's because of who we already are. You guys know this, but this is like one of my favorite parts of the whole book right here. That section, preaching to awaken hearts, presenting to everyone, let me let you in on who you really are. Yeah. Let me show you that you are the perfect one in His eyes. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Now, here's what it looks like to live. And he'll go on to do that in Colossians. He does this often. He starts with identity and who Jesus is and who we are in Him. And then he'll unpack, here's what that looks like. You know, malice, that stuff doesn't fit. Anger, wrath. Yeah. He'll name these things. It's like, that doesn't look like our new world. Yeah. This isn't what it looks like. Now it looks like this, you know. And in Galatians, he'll do it through the fruit of the Spirit. You know, love, joy, peace, patience. I love that. Like, we get an actual picture of it, but it's not flipped. It's not, you know, Colossians 3 and 4 before Colossians 1 and 2. It starts with 1 and, you know, it starts right away with, this is our message, Christ. Yeah. And this is our message, you're complete in Him. And out of that, now, here's what it looks like in this kingdom. And here's what it looks like to get to live that way. So I just love it. It speaks to me deeply.
So good.
Yeah. And I love what all you guys bring too. Okay. Well, I forgot to ask, what are we getting on our comments? Anything
Ken
today?
Said, how about veggie hot dogs?
Literally, that's what Ken said.
Yep.
What?
I'm guessing it was earlier when you were talking about milk and meat.
And meat?
That's my only.
Yeah.
I
So-
think.
Ken,
So-
what does it mean?
If
So
veggie
here's-
hot dogs are your thing, bro.
They're
Sure.
awful. Have you guys ever had them? They're terrible. They're awful. Oh, I guess I had tofu hot dogs. They're awful. They're terrible.
There is no
Yeah.
spam of the Lord.
No,
There
spam,
is
the
no
Lord.
spam.
I love spam. That's a whole different.
Wait, maybe there is.
I hope there's spam in heaven. No, so Ken, I don't think he is right now. Are you, Ken, currently a vegetarian? But when he was doing this, like when we were younger, I would always tell him, "You're not a vegetarian. You're just a non-meatitarian. You drink shakes, you eat fries, and you call yourself a vegetarian.
Uh-huh.
You're just a non-meatitarian."
Non-meatitarian.
There it is. That's funny.
Who knows what it's coming from?
Yes,
It's
you can
Ken.
still have the meat of the Lord. There are no substitutes, though.
No substitutes for the meat of the Lord. Ribeye, buddy.
We
You
already
remember
said
what it says? Is it Romans 15 that says, "He that is weak among you eats vegetables
Oh,
only"? Is that
I
Romans
need to know
15?
that verse.
We-
It's like Romans 15, I think.
Really?
It says, "The weak among you, he eats only vegetables." Hold
So
on.
what about Daniel eating the vegetables and he looked so much stronger than than Xerxes' men, or not Xerxes?
Yep, you're right.
Is it Xerxes?
Because he's eating those good
No, Xerxes was Persian.
lentils.
more locusts. and
He's
honey
eating those
myself.
good.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Romans 14, I'm sorry. One man's faith allows him to eat everything, but another man whose faith is weak eats only vegetables.
Interesting.
I see
Can
that.
you open it up?
With a little bit of context.
You gotta have context. I'm reading it completely out of context. Well, a man whose faith is weak eats only vegetables.
Yeah, I heard it. It's in the Bible.
Yeah, it's meat sacrificed to idols is the context.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a funny verse
It
to
is
use
really
on your
funny.
vegetarian.
But you better make sure you have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah,
with them,
you
'cause
sure
else
better.
They gone.
Yeah, you
Hang on.
like, what are you doing? You think God doesn't like the vegans?
Absolutely.
God loves the vegans.
Come on.
Let's just
Who
say it.
doesn't?
There are no
Right.
us
That's
and them.
the
We
point.
just talked about that Sunday.
Mm.
There's no us and them, the meat eaters and the non-meat eaters. It's all us,
Yeah.
That's right.
right? We must bear with the weak of faith among us.
And we got to preach to them
Oh
the
my
weak in
God.
heart. What'd you say?
Bear with the weak faith among us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm being stupid. I'm just
We
being
are now
stupid.
to outtakes.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff we should have been off the air for. Well, thanks for that lively comment that led to so much, Ken. Veggie hot
That's
dog.
right. That's where this all started.
He's like, I'm just gonna throw this in here and we're gonna derail.
He knew it.
Yeah, he knew he
probably
would throw us.
planned it. He probably- all
He
week
knew
he
he
was
would
like, okay,
throw
what
us
can
off.
I say?
Yeah, to throw these guys off when they
There
get.
it is.
Exactly. I love Ken Verhickey. I wanted him to move here.
There's still a chance.
Don't give up, right?
Don't give up.
They
Don't
just bought a
stop
house, though. They bought a house in northern Michigan.
Maybe they're just
They just
trying.
need to sell it and move on over. Come on, Ken. Come on over to Sioux Falls. I want everybody just to live, all my friends to live by me.
Makes sense.
All of them. I want everybody, I want my mom and dad, everybody just be here with me.
Me too.
And we all be living together in a happy family.
There we go.
I love you.
There it is. Barney.
You love me.
Oh boy.
Barney stole it from Jesus, okay?
Barney stole it from Jesus. He's
But
a
not
purple
everyone
dinosaur.
loves Jesus.
Speaking of dinosaurs,
Yeah, we're
Barney's a
okay.
dinosaur too.
Yes.
There's no us in them.
Yeah, I was talking about the relevation.
Oh yeah.
Relevation.
Oh, the relevations.
That's right.
I love
relevation worship.
Relevation. I was just thinking the same thing.
Nice.
I love Relevation worship. Their stuff is so good. It opens up portholes.
Evelation worship. Evelation.
Evelation. There you go. Evelation
Appalachian.
worship.
Appalachian
Appalachian.
worship. That's something a little different.
I love Appalachian worship.
Appalachian worship involves a lot
We're
of
off the
spirits.
rails all the way off now.
Yeah,
That's the way we roll.
family chat.
Thanks for doing it with us. Thanks for going through Colossians with us. It really is a great book.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
It's so good. It speaks to me. What's coming up? Night mission tonight for youth?
Yep.
Come on, that's going to be awesome.
6 to 7:30.
Mm.
And then next week we are doing our Christmas party.
Sweet.
So we'll have a dodgeball tournament. We'll have an escape room.
Oh
We will
yeah.
have
Goodness.
gingerbread houses to build. It's gonna be a good old time.
I don't like doing gingerbread houses. I think it's the detail that I can't see very
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
I saw this morning when I opened up Facebook, there was this daughter of a guy I graduated high school with. She's older. She's probably 10, I bet. Had done a full scale, well, not a full scale, but a model of our high school
oh my goodness.
out of gingerbread.
No.
Wow.
way.
It
That's
was
cool.
one of the coolest gingerbread houses I've ever seen.
That's
It was
wow.
really cool. But
That's pretty
yeah,
amazing.
I was
that.
sorry.
Do you guys eat your
gingerbread house.
gingerbread houses after you're done?
We do not.
Oh.
Which is, it's just silly to me.
Yeah.
But people love it, so
Yep.
we do
Cookies
it.
that have been sitting out for a couple weeks.
That begs the question.
Like we have one,
Brent,
we have a
what do you do with yours?
I would eat my gingerbread
Yeah.
house. You better believe it.
we have one sitting on our kitchen counter right now that Mackie and Carissa built. That's
Oh, cool.
just hanging out.
Like years ago, or
No,
recently?
not
Yeah, just kept it
years
there.
ago.
Okay, so
But the boys keep trying to grab it and eat the candy off of it.
So, like, was there a time you could eat gingerbread houses, and why can't you anymore? Is it like, are they like really old? Like, why can't you eat gingerbread houses?
You
Are they
can.
really gingerbread?
You can. It's all edible, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's just like leaving a cookie out. It's gonna get hard, and
Yeah,
I mean it's
brittle.
already hard, so it's gonna turn into a little.
I
rock.
don't even like gingerbread anyway, so
I like ginger snaps and
Maybe.
that's what I think.
ginger
of,
cookies,
snaps.
gingerbread cookies,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
yeah.
Maybe
Is that what these
multiple people
cookies were
building them.
here that we're
Yeah,
sitting
they're
over
right
here?
here. They've been
Are those
chilling.
gingerbread?
Oh,
I've
there's
eaten a
one
few.
They're off the
Nice.
rails
I've eaten a
in-
few of them.
in like.
Yeah,
some
I
pit
know. I don't
somewhere.
even know where we're at. We're still live and we're just chatting.
Yeah.
Thanks for chatting with us. Let's see. Anything else coming up Sunday? We'll
Can
be
I
back
tell a
here.
really funny story for a second?
Here we go
Yeah,
again.
let's
go.
hear it.
Oh my gosh.
Get us out of the pit.
We're off the rails. We might as well stay off the
Oh,
rails.
yeah.
I tried virtual reality
think-
gaming
yeah,
for the
yeah,
first
okay,
time
so-
today,
This is actually good.
and I was playing football and tried to throw the ball and didn't let go, and there were linemen coming at me in my eyes, and I ran with the really ran, not in
In
the
real
game.
life. In real
I
life.
ran in real life, and I ran right into the wall.
In his office.
Pretty sure I might have a black eye tomorrow. We'll see. But
Did you break the
I didn't break the Oculus.
Oh, yeah.
That's good
Luckily,
news.
my buddy would have killed me
Yeah.
if that would have been true.
Oh,
Just
but
wear a helmet
gosh,
next
no
time. You'll be
kidding.
fine.
yeah,
Was
so
he
that's
laughing?
my. Oh, he was. We were both cracking.
They were
Oh,
going
It was
nuts.
so funny.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so- There's my plug for virtual reality football. Have fun.
We're gonna do virtual
safe.
reality church.
Pick a
Everybody
room that
can
is
just
more
put on
wide
there.
open than my.
We are kind of doing
It'd be
virtual
office.
reality church.
Right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wouldn't it be
Christmas.
cool? And we could just put on our. Oh yeah, our Christmas service is going to be. We won't be here in the building. It will be live on only in the sense that it will come on at 9:15 on Sunday morning.
Did we just let the
And-
cat out of the bag? Had we told people that yet?
We told them there's no
Okay.
service on Sunday morning. We wanted them to know that.
Right, now there's cats.
Because I didn't want people to, I didn't want people to be like showing up on Sunday morning. Like that would be bad.
Yeah, no.
We are not going to be here, but we will have a live. I mean, we have an online service. I'm going to be on. Do like
Chatting it
that.
up.
Yeah, just so somebody's on there too.
That a boy.
Yeah. Plus, it'll be fun to watch it.
I'll probably be on there too.
It'll be fun to watch it, and yeah, we're gonna have fun doing this. We're hoping you guys enjoy it as well. We do have Christmas Eve candlelight. That will be here at the building, real, in person, not virtual, where TJ burns up his office with a candle.
It was virtual.
So yeah, join us for that 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Good stuff happening. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You're the perfect ones in Jesus. So now go out and live in the reality